Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back, and this week we're going to be chasing green arrows because I'm on a stonking red one. Dean's on green though. Dean, we're going a bit early this week, Friday lunchtime. It's a nice change. This is during the press conference, sort of hour or two, so we might even have a few live updates.
I'm loving this. This is very much something I could get used to. Let us know if you like this time, though. If you don't, then it's not going to work, people. So let us know if this is a good slot. If we occasionally were to dip into this little window of time. But yeah, like we're waiting to get team news right now from a lot of people. Obviously, we just had a lot of European fixtures. So many teams been involved in that we're going to need to see how things bounce around in that sense. But yeah, it's a big weekend, mate. I mean, I am top of our little Chasers league, and I'm going to make the most of it, mate. I think this is actually the first time it's happened since we started the show.
It's only been a year and a half.
It's only been a year and a half. This is the first time I've ever been top of the league. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy the next 12 hours or whatever it is that I'm going to say there.
I don't know, mate. Your team's in good shape. We'll see Dean's team later in the show. We'll see mine. And most importantly, guys, we're going to see your team, the Chasers team. The polls will be up in the chat. If you're watching on catch up, then do stay tuned. We got Against the Obvious. We're going to be looking at the chat's comments as well. We've got Christopher. We've got FPL OM Red, who's listening in an airport lounge in Ireland. Love that.
Oh, that's lovely.
We got Ray straight away. One of the first proper comments of today's stream was from Ray Sawyer, who said, "Wrong side. Come on, boys." I knew within seconds before that comment. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait for the comment.
Hey, there it is.
It came in.
It's because I logged on first. It's basically if I'm here before G. If I get in before G to the chat, then that's what seems to happen. And you can tell that hasn't happened very often throughout the history of Chasing Green Arrows. But I think that's what happened.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I wasn't quite sure how that worked, but that makes sense. FPL Meerkats with us, Derek and Greg. Hello, Harry. Welcome to Mark. All of our Chasers, Jody's with us too. Guys, do feel free to add to the comments. We'll be bringing up some questions in the chat sporadically through the show. We've got loads to get through. Dean, we should probably have let's kick off with, let's just touch on last night's and European games, because we last streamed on Monday, me and Big Man on Wednesday. But so far, I guess in a nutshell this week, we've not had any big news in terms of injuries off the back of the Europa League or Champions League. We did have a few surprise results though, like Liverpool went down 1-0, which we're seeing a bit, but came back in the second half to win the game. Villa lost and conceded 3. Maybe that's good news for Jackson owners, but it was very much a second string. In the Champions League, we saw United concede 4, but still score a few. And Arsenal, well, that was probably their best attacking performance of the season, because they've been a bit underwhelming in the Premier League in terms of numbers, but they went and looked very good, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I mean, that skewed my the way that I'm going to look at that North London derby, to be honest. I fancied Tottenham. I've got a stat coming in a minute, actually, on Tottenham, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I really, PSV have been in such good form this season. They've been scoring goals for fun, week in, week out. I think they'd scored something like 10 goals in their last 3 games going into that fixture, PSV. And I was like, oh, Arsenal will win this game, but I think it'll only be by the odd goal. I'll go 2-1. 4-0, just like an absolute rout. A fantastic performance. Odegaard signs a new contract today. They're flying at Arsenal, absolutely flying. So that makes it very interesting. I'll tell you what was interesting about Brighton. I saw there was a take on this. There's an account called United Muppeteers, which is a good Man United account. And the guy on there, he has some good insight and data. And he did a video yesterday where he was talking about how Man United struggle a bit with European nights because of the way they've been built to have bigger games at weekends than they do midweek, and the way their training sessions are set up and so on and so forth. And he actually tweeted last night that Brighton staying fresh with low intensity training for weekend games means they are not used to these midweek slugfests. It's something they'll have to learn. I was like, that's actually a really interesting take, that Brighton are just built for weekends.
And maybe Aston Villa too.
Maybe Aston Villa too. I mean, Villa did obviously make a few changes that didn't really work out. But yeah, it's a new thing, and it's something that we probably don't take into consideration. So maybe it also means, there might be a bit of a lag that now affects them at the weekends. But maybe the weekends is just when they hit form, Brighton. So tough one to judge.
The selection was what you'd expect from De Zerbi. Like there was a lot of rotation, but don't forget there was a huge amount of rotation for the Man United game. So yeah, the comment
exactly. Yeah.
the game where there'll be a lot of rotation again on Sunday, and sure there will be. Just so you know, the big names that I guess did feature last night, we saw Estupiñán start. He didn't start at Old Trafford. Pascal Gross seems to be the guy that can play every minute. Gilmour played. Ansu Fati and João Pedro played up front together, and it was March and Mitoma on the flanks. So, yeah, you would expect perhaps one or two of those to drop out. Like I'm thinking Welbeck will probably start the weekend. Ferguson could start, although he left the ground early. Jules Breach was covering the game, and she said that Ferguson left before kickoff with an injury. But again, apparently that's not too serious. I would expect, however, March and Mitoma to probably feature and start on Sunday. So don't worry too much if you got those two, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just stop for 1 second. Ray, you absolute life changer. £10. £10.
That's a huge gesture.
That's massive, mate. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. 7,410% rank change for Gameweek 5.
You've worked it out, Ray.
Horrendous. 103rd in the world down to 7,736. Still can't complain. No, you can't. That is extremely high place to still be. Like that's, I consider myself to be having a decent season, and I'm still in the millions. We move. He says, Ray, that's absolutely brilliant, mate. Let us know what your key has been to your success in these early weeks. Who have you had that everybody else hasn't? Because there is definitely this narrative at the moment that a lot of you content producers, G, have all been going pretty similar with the picks, and they haven't been paying off.
We are, we're fairly safe and boring, I reckon. And this week, most are going Jackson to Alvarez, and I'm really hoping Alvarez blanks. But you've got to play this game a little bit differently if you're going to win it. Ali Hangarov showed us that last year. Chaser Ali Hangarov. Just want to touch on that super chat again. Ray, at 7,000 rank in the world, you're probably in the top 5-10 of our mini league if you're joined. We'll put the mini league details at the bottom of the screen. If you're not in our mini league, guys, get in it. Because Ray, I reckon you certainly would have been top at 103. That's for sure. So we'd love to have you in our mini league, Ray. And thank you so much for the super chat. That is an amazing gesture.
Ray is there. I can see him right now. He's fifth. He's got 345 points. The leader is Matt T, who has 362 points. So we really are. There's quite a pace being set there. I'm 326th in the league, which I'm not happy about at all. But yeah, that's great, Ray. Well done, mate.
There's no PS5 this season, though, is there?
No, there's no PS5 this season. We'll do something out. Yeah. Maybe signed book from G or something. Gucci.
I can't get rid of them quick enough, mate. The signed books. Honestly, I've got a stack there. Gucci is one of my my ultras.
Oh my God, he can't stop throwing money around.
Thanks, Gucci. We were chatting this morning on WhatsApp. He wildcarded last week with double Newcastle defence, and he put Anthony Gordon. He went for a triple Newcastle. I don't know if he stuck with Gordon, but I told him don't go triple Newcastle. Hence the comment, and it paid off for him. Clean sheet, double clean sheet straight away.
I mean, a lot of people are now on this boat, aren't they? Are getting Newcastle defenders in. So it's definitely a thing that people have been recommending. There's a lot of love now for Newcastle defenders. Triple Newcastle seems a very, very big play to be having, especially now they're in the Champions League action. I mean, they got so
lucky, didn't they?
They got so lucky. I mean, Rafael doesn't have many off days these days, but I'd consider that to be one of them. He wasn't dreadful, but he wasn't peak Leao. And if he was, Milan would have won that game. They definitely upped their game from when they got stuffed by Inter Milan a few days earlier. But unfortunately, Leao didn't, and that back heel.
And Inter struggled, which was weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah,
Inter went and smashed Milan and then struggled in the champs, and Milan were the other way around. They put up 2.4 XG against Newcastle Milan, which teams in the Premier League do not do. Like Newcastle don't concede. They even conceded like 1 XG to Man City this season. Like to put up 2.5 against that defense is really good. How they didn't score, I don't know.
Yeah, mate, listen to this that Ray's done. He's gone hard. He used all his chips.
What?
Figured I'd get out in front rather than chase, as it's hard to make points with everyone doing the same moves. Go hard early and then hang on for dear life.
So you used 4, because 3 chips plus probably your wild card, right?
Right, have you actually used all your chips?
That's
have
amazing.
You actually? We're only 5 weeks into the game, mate.
At least he can say he's a former world number 103, or maybe even shorter than 100. If you could say you have been in the top 100 of FPL,
Stick it in your bio, don't you?
Mate, there's content creators out there that are like former world number whatever, and it's like they were there mid game week in game week 3 10 years ago. My claim to fame is, and I don't have this in my bio, I probably should, is I was you select your club when you sign up to FPL.
Yes.
I won the Chelsea manager of the month. So from all the Chelsea fans in the world, I was the best for like April 2009 or something. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's I got a goodie bag, and in the goodie bag from the Premier League, it was like it had been built for a 7-year-old. I got a key ring, a squishy toy, a little teddy bear, a pen. I was like, you do realize it's full-grown adults that play this game?
But you know what, when I was a kid, and there was one year, and I wrote to all the Premier League clubs and said, I'm just trying to decide what team to support. So can you send me some things to help me decide if it should be your team? And for like the next 3 months, like randomly, I'd get these deliveries arriving through the front door. Like some teams would send some really cool stuff. I'd get like autographed pictures through. I'd get pens. It was really cool, actually. If you've got kids, try it. I should probably try it with mine. But yeah, it was good fun. It sounds like basically that's what they did to you.
Yeah. JS, can we start talking about FPL? Okay, JS. Oh, such a bore. And that was when Dean's investigative reporter career launched. Yes, Mark. So I saw a question earlier about Ferguson. Do we think he'll start? I think knowing that he left the ground early because of an injury is highly doubtful. Even if they say he's fine, I'd go, Welbeck's going to come in and start. And then I wouldn't be surprised. João Pedro off the back of a brace maybe plays number 10 because he came off the bench. So I'd expect Fatty to maybe drop down onto the bench. Estupinan, you should be good for a start. Like, yes, Lamptey was very good, but let's make no doubt about it. Estupinan is first choice left back at Brighton. And don't forget, Lamptey is actually a right back that can play either side. Estupinan will come back in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, let's get into fresh off the press, because I have got a bit of stuff that is going to be relevant.
Hit that credit.
Yeah, not loads of team news around, but a bit from Man City and Arsenal. So we'll just stress that first. Difficult to see that Foden and Alvarez don't play this weekend. Bernardo Silva, I mean, bit of a weird quote from Pep. I can't tell if he's out for like a few days or 2 or 3 weeks. Like it's tough to know. But Bernardo's not playing this weekend. Said Grealish could get a little bit of game time. Kovacic is on his way back. But yeah, I mean, Foden, I assume you've still got looks good. Alvarez, I assume, will be good. In terms of Arsenal, the Martinelli thing, pretty big deal. Deal, isn't it, in this community? Let us know if you've got Martinelli and if you're looking to swap him out for somebody else, because that's pretty big. But look, I'm not going to waste too much time on other team news right now, because most of it we don't have. So I've been going through some pre-game stats that I think can help us make some big decisions. And let's focus on this Spurs-Arsenal game, which we mentioned earlier on. Spurs obviously come into this one pretty buoyant. But whenever things have been going well for them in the past and then they've gone to Arsenal, it hasn't always turned out this way. So there have been 7 times when Arsenal have gone to the Emirates and have been actually above Arsenal in the table, right?
Only 7.
Only 7. Every time that's been the case, they've gone to the Emirates and they've lost
every jobs
single time. So this is a real test of that Ange mentality. Like, have Tottenham definitely turned a corner? The other narrative to look out for, obviously, is this Raya versus Ramsdale spot, which honestly, I really think that Arteta might be creating a problem he didn't need here. If Raya starts this weekend, we have to consider he's now Arsenal number 1.
Number 1. That's
it. He's got to be. Like, he can dress this up all he likes as like, no, it's rotation. They're both important, blah, blah, blah. If for the 3rd game in a row, Raya comes in after the international break and he's starting, which I think he's gonna.
I was going to say, I put a lot of money on that as well.
I think I would too. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to now change it. Like,
not after 2 games without playing and upsetting Rambo going into the derby. You can't put Ramsdale back in.
They're back-to-back games. He isn't letting a goal. I know they're not like the best opponents, Everton and PSV. Like he doesn't have that much to do.
Distribution's been good, but we know that from Raya.
Yeah, and if like Arteta is trying to change things here, then this is the game we're going to find out. I mean, surely this game you put in the person you trust the most. And if Ramsdale is not playing at the weekend, I think personally it'll be the beginning of the end because he's got the Euro to think about at the end of the season. He just played for England last week, so he's really hoping to stay in that conversation, and he wants to oust Pickford from the spot. He's not going to do that if he's on the bench at Arsenal every week.
He will if it comes to Chelsea in January, though.
Honestly, this is the thing. In January, he's going to have a think because there's definitely going to be clubs like that in for him. So, yeah, that'll be really interesting. So
Chelsea could have just gone in for Raya for half the price that they'll end up paying for Ramsdale in January, which is hilarious. Why didn't they do that? Because we'll go and pay double the Raya price for Ramsdale in January.
That's true,
it's hilarious. Yeah. It's so what's going to happen. But Raya is a 4.8 million FPL goalkeeper. If he does play this weekend, and we know that he's number one, and we're not going to see rotation between competitions, because I thought Ramsdale would play Champions League this week, and I was wrong. And I thought maybe he'll go Premier League keeper.
Same. I thought he'd have cup keeper and a league keeper or something like that. Yeah.
So maybe Ramsdale just gets the FA Cup and the Carabao, but
that ain't enough, is it?
That's not enough to keep.
That's a proper number two's job. That's a number two's job. That's you are backup keeper if that's what you're doing, and that's not good enough for Ramsdale's a really good goalkeeper. And the other risk that you get here, if you really do have two keepers competing, is they're going to start doing things that they think they need to add to their games that they actually can't do that well. Suddenly, you've got Ramsdale trying to play like he's David Raya, and he can't, so he's going to make mistakes. And then perhaps Raya, I don't think he would, but if Raya started to try to do some things that aren't natural to him, then he's making mistakes. I think Raya is actually probably just the best choice. Now, if you're going to spend this much on a keeper anyway, it seems to me that that's the way you want to go with things. And Ramsdale, if that deal would happen a bit earlier in the window, I think Ramsdale might have been looking to leave by the end of the transfer window. So let's look out for it.
If I was on Wildcard, Dean, I'd punt and go Raya now. And when I do Wildcard in a few weeks, I think it's just you're getting an Arsenal goalkeeper for 4.8.
I was going to say, yeah, that's true. And also, what's he like for bonus? Is Raya normally good?
Yeah, he's better than he's up there in the top 2 or 3 in the league because he's played like a third centre back with his feet.
That's it.
First game for Arsenal, he makes 1 save and still gets 2 bonus because the pass completion's there, and he's good in all the other departments of the BPS for a goalkeeper. So Raya's gold when it comes to BPS. We love
that's really interesting. So even more reason for us to have an eye on that game. Arsenal then play Bournemouth a week later. So that's when we probably really get an idea of whether they are rotating, because the week after that it's Arsenal v Man City, and that's when you need to know exactly what your team's going to look like going forward. We've got another super chat in from Cameron. He said, I'm out at the moment, so I'll watch this on replay. Hope you're both well. He just popped in to literally give us £2 and say that. Cam, you're an absolute star. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments that are dropping. Yeah. Thanks for all the comments that are dropping in at the moment. I'm just going to got a couple of things to quickly wrap through. Julian Alvarez, one of the hottest assets at the moment in the game, obviously. There's actually some more evidence here so we've got more than ever before that he is actually the new KDB at Man City. So Alvarez has created 16 chances in the league this season. The last player to chalk up stats like that just 5 games into a season, KDB. Like, Alvarez is that influential at this moment in time.
And did you see his free kick last weekend? From like 30 yards, but like that's a KDB free kick, that.
It is. I'll tell you what, like the thing I like is on Ranks this week on the pod, I said he's like the best supporting actor. Like, if he plays for Argentina, he's happy for Messi to take the limelight. He knows that his job is to help him succeed and help the team succeed. Still does really well himself, still scored 4 goals or whatever at the World Cup and got a couple of assists along the way. This season, he's doing basically the Messi role is converted over to Haaland. Alvarez is just like, let me know how you want to play it. If you're struggling, I'll come up with the goals or assists. Don't worry about it. Like, he's an outstanding player.
The Man City press conference today, Bernardo Silva was ruled out for at least a week. Grealish has returned to training and maybe he can play some minutes. So again, he ain't starting. So Foden, Alvarez, locks to start, in my opinion. Kovacic isn't available or back yet either. So you think it'd be Mateus Nunes in the middle with Rodri. John Stones, by the way, who is still sidelined and no date of when he's going to be back. When he got injured in like game week 1, Pep was like, yeah, he might be back in next week. He'll,
Yeah.
not long, but the international break. This is what Pep does when his players are injured. He's very loose on a return date. So just remember that, FPL managers, because lots of us thought, oh, we can buy John Stones in game week 3 or 4. It's now game week 6 and he's still not returned to training. He's in the same bracket as De Bruyne as remains sidelines. Just note that when Pep has injured players, you don't get like gospel.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to just answer this question quickly. You can answer this question before I say the next thing. Lauren said, debating on transferring Isak out. Do I go Wilson or Alvarez? Where would you go?
I would transfer Isak out because I think him and Wilson are just going to share minutes. Alvarez, and you'd have the same problem with Wilson. Like, yes, Wilson might start this week, but next week it might be Isak. Alvarez is the easiest buy. Like, it's a template buy, but it's template for a reason. He's performing to the highest level. If you've got a third Man City spot, you can easily get to Alvarez. You own an Isak or a Wilson, you make that move. I'm not buying Alvarez, but I have 3 City already, and I'm okay with that because I have Foden. And I would say about Foden, there's not much between Foden and Alvarez. In the last 4 or 5 game weeks, sure, it's been Alvarez getting all the points. But in terms of standards and how they're playing, Foden's not far behind, and those points could very easily drop his way soon. So I'm remaining positive on that one. I'm just pleased to have more than Haaland up top for Man City.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I just want to touch on is Jared Bowen. Don't know if you'll remember this, but he was in my first draft that I was committed to trying to stick to. And late doors, I got wobbly on Jared Bowen. Kind of wish I'd stuck with him now. West Ham take on Liverpool at the weekend, and that game does have added significance for him because while West Ham are trying to get him to sign a new contract, Liverpool really, really like Jared Bowen. He might even end up being the successor to Mo Salah. Exactly. Like, he genuinely is one of the few names that they like as a potential to come in. So an important game for him in that sense too. And I'd actually back him to make an impact here.
It's a good game for him, that.
I think it is, yeah. And he scored in all 3 of West Ham's away games so far this season. So
it's a good fixture for him.
Yeah, it's a good fixture for him, yeah.
Liverpool win the game, sure, but West Ham have got a goal in them. And Bowen, is Bowen a Liverpool fan? Have I read that before?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he's from Hereford, so he's not a million miles from Liverpool. He's that way. And Hereford, in terms of your Premier League catchment, you're probably looking at Wolverhampton and then maybe the Midlands or Liverpool or Everton. That'd be an interesting buy. That I could see him being a Klopp-style player for sure. Guys, there's almost 200 of you watching. Only 37 of you hit the like button. Come on.
That's not good enough. Will says, isn't Bowen injured? And Mark says Bowen was ill. Yes, so do keep an eye on it. Keep an eye. Like, this isn't one to do before team news, but they should. I don't know if West Ham will have a presser today, because what often happens is that they address it after the game last night. So I haven't seen whether West Ham have a presser today, but I've
same as Klopp. He hasn't got one today, but I think you just get some embargo quotes.
That's what happens. So in a presser, what would happen after a Thursday night European game, ones that I've been to, is they'll do the post-match game one and they'll go through all that and they'll be like, right, okay, this stuff now is embargoed for Friday at this time. We're now looking forward to talk about the next match. All questions here have to be about the West Ham game or whatever. So with West Ham, you might struggle to get any new news out of Jared Bowen.
Good to see my mate Mo Farah's in the chat. Mo's a Milan fan. We spoke about Milan earlier, Mo. Steve, he's loving the pod. He's sat next to the pool in Turkey, 33 degrees.
Blimey, same name as my dad, and definitely my dad is not sat by a pool in Turkey right now. He's sat down watching Minder or something on Sky. But thanks for joining us while you're sat by the pool. That's a couple of people right now that are on holiday watching us, so that's always nice, mate.
We should mention someone, when we had a super chat, someone said that £10 can be used to upgrade to HD, because we're still not in it. And today we've got our producer on. So because he may not have watched the last few shows, we did some market research in the week. We've been downgraded to 720, and you chasers aren't happy because so many of you watch on your TV and then chat on your phone. So you're on 2 devices, which we love because it increases our views, but the picture quality needs upgrading, right?
Yeah, looks like it. A few people have said that. Ross, if you're watching, it's all on you, son. It's all on you.
that £10 super chat was specifically for 1080p, apparently.
Yeah, everyone just contribute £1 right now and we'll upgrade for the next week. God, I'd have 200 quid in the bank. We'd be loaded. Anyway, that's it from me on that segment, mate. We can move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Look, we've got loads to get through. We've got half an hour of the show. We've still got to do our teams, and then we've got to do the chaser team, which is going to involve some polls, but we've also got against the obvious, which I think, Dean, we might have to do against the obvious now because we said we're going to do the chaser team in the last section of the show.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if we're happy to, let's do against the obvious now and then look at our teams. And as always, guys, be answering your questions throughout the show. But next up, we're going to give you 60 seconds worth of reasons why not to buy two very in-demand players.
There we go. I've only got 57 seconds. Oh, no, reset the clock. I don't know if I've even got 60 seconds of content here, to be honest, but you can start the clock now. But Ben Chilwell obviously has become a little bit more of a risk than you probably might have anticipated at the start of the season, given that he's now considered a left-sided forward in this Chelsea team. It's basically a head-to-head between him and Mudryk for minutes. And the thing that would concern me in terms of having Chilwell as a pick in my team is Mudryk is close to £100 million asset that they need to play himself into form. Like, they need that transfer to come good. And the only way Mudryk's going to come good is with consistent minutes. If he's back on the bench, if he gets back on the bench, he's never going to build that. He's never going to get any hope. And also, Chilwell ain't a forward. Like, I don't trust this guy to actually. I like him at left back. I like him as left wing back because he knows the role and he gets enough assists. He's not going to score goals. Yeah, still getting the odd assist, but I just don't think at the moment Ben Chilwell's actually that good a pick.
Oh, neither do I, mate. It's tough because, you know, he's probably saying the same thing. I'm not a good left winger.
I think he genuinely is. Yeah, you see his interviews and he's as confused as we are.
Yeah. It's still a very different position, and a very attacking left wing back compared to a left winger is different. Your starting position is completely different. But maybe against Aston Villa, he plays in because of the defensive responsibility that might be required to play against Aston Villa's wing backs in Matty Cash. But he certainly won't be playing left back. You know, that's Levi Colwell's role now. You know, that back four, Poch isn't really rotating. So it's a 50-50 call. And if you own him, a lot of you will be looking to sell, which is fair enough. We've got Lee Wollaston in the chat. Would you transfer? We'll get to your question later, Lee. Lee, as one of my ultras, I need your mobile number, mate. Can you please DM me on Instagram or Twitter? I have no way of contacting you, and every comment I put out, you don't reply to. So, Lee, give me your mobile number so I can add you to the WhatsApp group. You're one of my ultra members. I've been trying to track you down for about 4 or 5 days. I've been on LinkedIn. I've been on Instagram, looking at all the Lee Wollastons. But now he's in the chat. I can actually talk to you, Lee. Let's do my against the obvious, because I've gone for a player that's in, well, he's in 30% of teams. Most of you watching will own him. I'm going to tell you why you don't need him this week. So, Mbomo, yeah, like, he's been the standout midfield pick this season. There's no doubt about it. Every week, I look at him and think, I need him in my team. But every week, as the weeks pass, I'm going, I think I can get away with it. And against Newcastle, we got away with it. And against Newcastle, from all the games he's played this season, he didn't really produce much. Now, is that because Brentford aren't perhaps as good as we think they are, and he's been relying on some big chances falling his way, including 2 penalties? Or is it because Newcastle are very good at the back? Well, this week they do face good opposition in Everton. It's a good fixture at home for Brian and Bomo. However, I think Everton have been a bit unlucky this weekend. So the main reason why I don't think you need him this weekend is I actually think Everton are probably better defensively than we think. And under Sean Dyche, I think we're going to see that. We're going to see them struggling for goals, but we are going to see some clean sheets. And I'm backing them again to keep the Brentford man out. I really hope they can, because when he scores, it massively hurts your rank.
Yeah, that's the thing with Mbomo, and that's what's hurting me really, because like from what I'm seeing on an eye test, I'm not that fussed about not having him, but he does weigh in with points. Like he's having a pretty good season in terms of FPL, even if not, he could probably be doing better in terms of actual form, but it's going to hurt me because I'm not going to pick Mbomo. He's one of those ones that I get stubborn on.
Yeah.
And every time I see his name flash up on Twitter or on a video printer, it just drives me mad because I just know how many people have him. It's really annoying.
Yeah, that 30% ownership, I was actually quite surprised at. I thought it'd be higher, but I think in terms of really engaged managers like you guys in the chat, it's probably more like 60, 70%.
That's it. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So I want to just get to Lee's question in the chat because it's a good one about Salah and Mitoma at the expense of. So Lee's saying, would you transfer in Salah and Mitoma at the expense of Son and Fernandes? I personally don't think you need to make that move. Like, Son has got 2 tough fixtures. Yes, we're backing him to produce, but you've already got Maddison and Spurs cover. And Bruno, I don't think you need to. Oh, you'd be selling Son and Bruno. Right. Okay. I don't. Yeah. I mean, look, I'd want to get Salah this week. I don't know if Mitoma would be my 6.5. And there is the fear of rotation still. From those midfielders, like I like Diaby.
Yeah, Diaby is a good one, isn't he? Yeah.
And Chelsea is a good opposition, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, there's not the Chelsea of old, is it? And so we can judge Chelsea at the moment as the team that we saw last season, not at any point before that. So Chelsea are fine to have your players going up against. I don't know that I would bring in Mitoma either, but I always say that, and then he scores. So don't trust me on that one at all.
FPL Freddie likes James Ward-Prowse in that price band. Alex likes Eze. I would say Eze, I think, is a really good pick now. Palace fixtures have turned, and Eze's been unlucky this season with his return so far. He's on pens as well, don't forget, with no Zaha there. Eze is definitely one to keep an eye on. Guys, we've got 250 of you watching. If you're not already subscribed, and I'm sure you're all subscribed, hit that button and make sure you're liking the channel too. The beauty of subscribing, when you do, you can hit the alert. So we stream 3 times a week. And as you're starting to learn, it ain't always Mondays and Fridays at 7 now, is it? So we're moving it around a bit. And we also have Big Man Backer streams on a Wednesday. So loads going on, guys. We've got our teams to show. Dean is above me. So we'll start with your team, Dean. Then we'll do mine. And then we'll do the Chaser team. And you guys, we need your help because the Chaser team needs a little bit of work. It's been struggling. But next up, we've got Pimp My Team or Team Reveals.
Yeah, here they are. Clap them out. It's as best as they've played in a long time. I've made my transfer. I said I was going to stick by Ollie Watkins through thick and thin. Gone back on my word. He's gone. Julian Alvarez is in the team. I can't ignore form like he's been showing. And to stick with Ollie Watkins, who can't hit a barn door at the moment, so ignore Julian Alvarez would just be pretty stupid of me, really, especially given Man City's next couple of games, Forest and Wolves. So I've managed to bring Alvarez in, and I've still got 2 million in the bank, which
nice.
is good. I've got a premium here of Son, Salah, and
It's
Haaland.
a good team, mate.
And I've got Alvarez and Saka around them. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where this team's at. Apart from my goalkeepers, not happy with my goalkeeper choices at the moment. Someone said a minute ago, would you pick Onana? I think I've got to. I'm not taking a -4 to get rid of him.
Would you play Turner? This isn't a debate this week, is it? Surely you have to play Nana over Turner.
This is the problem.
I mean, I'm looking at it going, every shot goes in.
Drive me mad. The only positive is that obviously Onana had a disgraceful first half performance in Munich. In the second half, he did make 4 good saves. Like he actually did. So I'm going to hope that I see that form continued and that he can at least keep a clean sheet against a newly promoted team in the shape of Burnley. I actually think that Burnley will somehow manage to get a point out of that game. And if they do, then Ten Hag's in another crisis. But yeah, in terms of everything else, keeping Enzo for now. Don't love that. I have to say that that's ruining my team a little bit at the moment. I'm slightly now honestly worried about Gusto because Reece James is coming back. So that might start to become affected. And he could, if Reece gets his shirt back, he could become a sub, which I don't want to be happening. And at the moment, Udogie and Andreas are on my bench as I'm looking at it. Udogie, I obviously just don't fancy Spurs to keep a clean sheet. I also don't want too many players involved from that fixture because I really don't know what's going to happen. So I've got Saka, I've got Son. I'm kind of happy to let that game play out and not have any defenders involved. Andreas Pereira, I saw somebody else asked about that in the chat earlier. Would I bring him in? Andreas didn't have a very good game against Luton and he was subbed. But like the person said, I can't remember who it was now. Sorry if it was you. He's on set pieces and corners and stuff. And he is, yeah, but not as prominently as once was. And Harry Wilson stands over a lot of stuff now. Willian stands over them too. So Pereira isn't that much of a shoo-in for those moments.
Pens.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably leaving him on the bench.
I think it's the right call. It's Selhurst Park. That's a tough fixture for Fulham. There's no gimme there. And Archer's at home and Newcastle off the back of a European fixture might be a little bit more vulnerable than normal. Archer's going to get you 90 as well. Andreas ain't playing 90. Or unlikely to. So I think Archer's a sensible call. I mean, you could go Enzo or Andreas, but again, Enzo on pens, Villa off the tough away day. Your move, just to confirm, guys, Dean's gone early. So Alvarez already in was Dean's move. Yep. Watkins was the replacement.
Watkins is gone, yeah.
Duran's
absolutely.
Playing well as well. I wouldn't say, look, Watkins is Emery's boy. He loves the way he plays. But with Duran still scoring goals and the shades of Benteke there, like good Benteke, at some point we might see, if this theme continues of Duran scoring it all the time and Watkins struggling to hit a barn door, still doesn't score this season, we might see one of him dropped. I mean, I'm not sure that comes yet, but he's vulnerable, I'd say.
Yeah, that's true. Alex said he would have kept Watkins and gone Andreas to Eze. I'm going to Crystal Palace v Fulham. I'm not picking a Crystal Palace player to have a good day against my team. So
another away day for you.
Another away day for me, another away day for my 5-year-old son. So we'll see how he gets on at Selhurst.
Yeah, he won't have the same feeling as the Emirates mate, where he was like, "Oh, what is this state? Is this what football stadiums are meant to be like?" And then
he was like, "Wow, I can't believe Fulham get to play here." And they'll be like, "Back down to earth. We're going to Selhurst Park, so you can see Craven Cottage. Ain't that bad, mate?"
Enjoy Norwood.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Balfour, I think that's the same guy I went to school with. So hello, Nick, if that's you. He said Andreas over Archer. No, I don't think so, mate. As I say, because of the Palace fixture, also not sure in terms of his general performances at the moment. He's not as good as he was last season. And Archer, I fancy in that team, to be honest. I quite like my pick of Archer. It's a bit different. Matt Riley is currently walking 4 dogs in rainy Shanghai.
Come on, Matt.
That's brilliant. Mark says, awesome. I better get set for that journey to Selhurst right now. I actually checked it out, Mark. It looks like I've got it pretty straightforward tomorrow. Like there are no cancellations, no rail works, and I should have a pretty straightforward 50-minute journey to Selhurst Park from here. It might not work out as smooth as that, but either way, it shouldn't be too bad, I hope.
Several route options as well with Selhurst Park, which I like. You've got the overground. You could go National Rail to Croydon, which where I used to live by East Croydon Station. You got the tram, which isn't too far. There's loads of the buses. Good options.
Nice. Let's check out your team, mate.
Yeah, let's have a look. I've not made my transfer yet, and I do have similar in the bank. I think I've got 2.1 in the bank. We'll see in just a sec. Yeah, so I've got 2.1 in the bank. I've still got Nicholas Jackson, and I know I shouldn't have, and I know I'm being too patient, and I know I'm being blinkered by being a Chelsea fan. But
he's got to enjoy
FPL. He's got to score eventually, and I know I'm going to enjoy a Jackson goal even more this weekend, knowing everyone sold him for Alvarez. And if
is he still 14% owned? Is that still the case? Right now?
I think he was 20% at the start of the game week. Literally, I think he's gone from 20 to 14, or maybe he's 12 now. I don't know.
We'll have a check.
I don't know when these were made. But if I could go Jackson to Alvarez, sure, I'd do it. Now I can't. I've got triple Man City. I'm okay with that. I also have another fire to put out. Chilwell is a serious fire in my team because you can't have 5.7 million defenders not playing and coming on for 1 point cameos. And that is a very real possibility. If he was injured, fine, I'd keep him and be like, oh, he'll start again in a few weeks. I can't be having 10-minute cameos. Now, maybe from today's press conference, there's something that comes up which suggests Chilwell's going to start. And I go, okay, I'll keep him. But I look at the Chelsea defence versus Aston Villa and I can't see a clean sheet anyway. I don't particularly want to play Colwill, if knowing I can get to a Newcastle defender. I know we've just spoken about how Archer's a good option, and he is, but Newcastle is still heavily fancied for a clean sheet. And after that, I think Newcastle might have Burnley. I think it's Sheffield United and Burnley the next two. Like, they are one of the best defences in the league. And I think I want to go to Botman or Trippier. And I haven't quite worked out which yet, because if I need the money, I could go Botman, but I've got more than enough to go Chilwell or Gvardiol if I heard he wasn't starting. And again, we might get a City team league and just go Trippier in. Brozier could return this week for Chelsea, but when Brozier returns, guys, when you've been out for that long, you don't start. Like, when you hear a manager say he's back in the squad, that's a 10-minute cameo for his. He's not starting for a few weeks, Broja. 100%.
Yeah, so Philly the Phil says, how the hell does Botman go up in price? I've been following the price situation for the whole week and no indication he'll go up. And all of a sudden, he does. I'm flaming.
It's so annoying. Sometimes they're really good to predict and bang on. Like I use FPL statistics, and other times it's really unpredictable. So yeah, out of nowhere that can happen. The only price rise forecast tonight as a guarantee feels like it's Gusto, by the way. So he'll go up to 4.3. People like Dean got Gusto at 4. Areola could go up in price to 4.2, and Adoji, another one of Dean's boys, could go up to 4.8. So your squad value is looking quite good.
Yeah,
but
kind of right. Yeah.
usually you can predict them. But sometimes out of nowhere that happens, and it is annoying with Botman. In terms of the difference between Botman and Trippier, guys, last season you could see the justification for going for a Trippier. You could even justify spending, as it is now, almost 2 million extra because you're like, the assist threat is there. The goal threat from direct free kicks is there, but also the bonus points potential with Trippier. This season, he hasn't put up the same attacking underlying numbers in terms of crosses and assist threat. However, it's worth noting Trippier has had a really tough run. Like they've played a lot of tough games. And with that in mind, with the next couple of games coming up, by the way, Sheffield United, one of the most vulnerable teams defensively from set pieces, as I think Burnley might be. Trippier could have a bit of joy. If you've got the money, I think you spend it.
Yeah, a few people will be doing that for sure. There was a question I was going to ask. Oh, Danny said, if you go Trip, you're kind of forcing yourself into a wild card early. Would you agree with that?
If you go Trippier, you're spending so much in that position, you're probably not going to be able to reach someone like a Mo Salah. And the school of thought is, by game week 9-10, if you need Salah, you're probably going to have to either save tons of money by going for players like Botman, or you're going to wild card. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think I'm happy to commit to a wild card if I go Trippier. If I don't, I go Botman, then I'm leaving my options open. And I've got to make that call. And I got, 12 hours to make it. And I'm cool with that. The benefits of committing to a wild card are you can go big on players like Trippier now, but you can also then commit to someone like a Carlton Morris next week. I don't want to bring Morris into my team if I'm not wildcarding for 10 weeks because then I'm stuck with him. But I will bring in Morris in game week 7 if I know I'm wildcarding in game week 8 or 9 because I can get rid of him. And with that double game week in mind, maybe Morris is someone you want to bring in. So again, I think a lot comes down to your transfers now. You need to have an indication of when you're going to wildcard. But as always with FPL, you don't have to fully commit to anything. You can remain flexible.
Yeah, sorry if I pronounced his name wrong here, but Sonser says, hey G, I've got a very similar team to yours with 2 Brighton assets, risk of rotation, and a City defender blocking me from Alvarez, considering the wild card now.
Ooh, no, your Brighton assets will be fine if they're a Stupinan and Mitoma like mine. Like I think they both start. And I wouldn't worry. Your Triple City, again, if it's the same as mine, Gvardiol didn't start in the champs, should start the weekend. There's a good clean sheet odds. And Foden and Alvarez, I'm telling you, there's such a little amount between them. The world and their dog are moving to Alvarez for a reason. Yeah. That's fine. But Foden points are also on the horizon. In the Champions League, and Gianni looked really sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do agree with that.
Don't wildcard, mate. You don't need to. I don't think you need to. Let's have a look, shall we? We've got. Should we answer a couple of questions now, and then we'll do the chaser team? So stay tuned, guys. In 3 minutes' time, at 10:02, we'll do the chaser team. But loving your questions so far, guys. As always, we'll prioritise any supers. How does Botman go up in price? Okay, I think we've done that one. We'll wait for another one.
Gee, you check the private chat while I run through some questions because I think or check your WhatsApp actually because the producer sent you a message. Right. Kingston says Chilwell might start, but a clean sheet unlikely with men like Diaby and Watkins goals incoming. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Diaby is definitely one that I'd like to get into my team. I wish I'd have had the guts to go with him early doors but he is one of those players, like you either flop or fly. Like these forward players, especially ones like Diaby, who are all about confidence. He could have been a Leon Bailey. He could have been like, yep, looks good for one game, then disappears for 3, comes off the bench, does well. You start him, doesn't do well. That was my concern with Diaby. Doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. So, yeah, I think it's now safe that we can start to go there. Tendai says, any thoughts on Doku as a punt if not already covered. We haven't spoken about that, mate. No. I would just be worried about how often we see him and when we see him. Like, we haven't yet grasped exactly how he's going to be used in terms of getting him up to speed in the Premier League. Pep admitted he wasn't that impressed by him against Fulham, but wasn't that bothered about it either because it was his first game in Premier League football. Then he plays his second game and he looks sensational. Yeah. And now we're waiting to see, like, well, does he trust him? What kind of game does he want him to play in regularly? So I'd sit off that one.
Yeah. Yeah, like we'll start this weekend, but then when Grealish is back, he could be out for a while. And Pep's new attacking toy doesn't always go straight in and get a ton of minutes, as we saw with the likes of Alvarez early on, or even when Foden broke through. Man like Diaby broke the Bundesliga curse as man on, and then Derek says, what curse? Well, just historically, Bundesliga attackers haven't always done that well. They haven't hit the ground running per se, but there's always examples of both. I think of Timo Werner was one of the bad ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Sancho another. Richarlison back in the 11 is a good question. It's a very good question because off the back of coming on and scoring, that's a big confidence booster. The problem with Richarlison in the 11 is Son plays out wide and Solomon is dropped. And Solomon's been playing well and Son has played very well when he scored the hat-trick and not so well last week. I think given the opposition, Son on the counter-attack in the next two games against Arsenal and Liverpool, against high lines, especially against Liverpool, I think we'll still see Son number 9 and perhaps Richarlison as an impact sub. What do you reckon, Dean? It's a hard one to call.
Yeah, so this is tough man management for Postecoglou because he wants to obviously keep Richarlison's head up and he wants him to believe he can do it. But I think he'd be better off against Arsenal leaving Richarlison on the bench and just going with Son. I wouldn't be starting Richarlison. I don't think the fixture suits him in terms of how the game's going to pan out. I wouldn't necessarily think they need him from the start. And I think he could have much more impact from the bench in that game and could actually come on and salvage something for Tottenham once Arsenal start to tire a little and they have to soak up some pressure. So if Richarlison is on the bench, I don't think he should be taking that to heart. I think he should almost be looking at it as a positive because that's when he could actually be fully utilised.
Yeah. Watch this space. I think the 11 we see in the North London derby, sure, if they play well, if Richarlison plays number 9 and plays well, it'll be the same for the Liverpool game because you'd expect them to set up similarly in both games if they're successful. So keep your eyes on that, guys. We've got 9 minutes left of the stream. We've got nearly 300 of you watching, which is awesome. Do hit that like button. I'd love us to get to 100 likes, but we're also going to need your help by selecting the community team. Now, we're going to come clean. We're going to get a little bit stuck with how we show you the community team because we can't bring it up on screen because the producer is in India and his electricity's gone. And with that...
means we can't change the graphics.
We can't change graphics and we can't do polls in the chat. But...
It's going to be tough. And we ain't got CH. Is CH here today?
CH isn't here. Maybe
it's a disaster of the 1 o'clock time zone. The 1 o'clock's not going to work without CH and without electricity, is it?
CH is not going to be happy with our selections without CH. But look, maybe we can just go off words in the chat. So if, for example, we give you 2 options, we'll just see which word comes up more frequently, like Salah or Son, and then we pick that player.
Hang on, is this the current? It's not even showing.
The current team's on our WhatsApp, mate.
Check it. I'm trying to show it, but I've got the ring light right on it. Let me move the light. Is yours showing up? I could hold it while this is real like amateur stuff, amateur hour here. So let's look at the goalie. Turner.
Oh, so do we want Turner or Onana?
There's the back four as it stands.
Put a word in the chat. Turner or Onana.
Yeah, so there's our
people. Oh, we're seeing
my WhatsApp pop up. Oh, it's all right. That's just a Twitter notification.
You've got notifications on, have you?
I do sometimes, mate. I turn them off as well, and this gets annoying.
I do. All right. So look, Turner or Onana, give us a word. We're all going to go Onana there. Yeah, great, done. Onana's going to be our keeper.
Yep.
Look, what's your transfer priority out, Dean? Because we've got Chilwell. But Stupinan can come in, but then it means we're starting a Doji. So Chilwell's a good option to sell, as is Martinelli, as is Watkins. It's one of those 3. So which one do we sell? Chilwell, Martinelli, Watkins.
Chilwell, Martinelli. Well, I mean, it's surely Martinelli. I mean, let me know if you disagree.
How long is he out for? Do we know?
No, but he's not playing well. Now he's injured. Right.
True. And the fixtures are tough. They got Man City in Gameweek 8.
Yeah. So I think, let me just see if this will work better now because I haven't got the ring light on. Okay, you can see it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can see we've got Chilwell, Martinelli, Watkins, and our bench options at the moment are looking like this. Estupiñán, Archer, Onana. I think Martinelli. I personally, if this was my team, I'd be getting rid of Martinelli immediately. And it looks like everybody in the chat feels the same way.
Pete said Martinelli to Foden,
which isn't the worst shout in the world.
I mean, we do have a spare Man City slot, and we're not going Alvarez. All right, so let's commit to Martinelli out, and then let's give options on that. Who are the other options? Foden. We don't really want Diaby because we got Watkins.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if we could
Doku?
get to Son. Doku might be an option. We can't get to Son.
How much money have we got?
I don't know what money we've got in the bank because we can't see. But I mean, I don't think I would touch Doku just because we don't know if he's going to play. Michael Scott proposes Eze. Jerry's proposes Trossard. Tony says Neto, a player we haven't spoken about, but he is playing Luton this weekend, so maybe we should consider it. Craig says a Martinelli out to a Man United midfielder.
Could go Rashford. I don't know if
we've got Rashford.
We don't want to double up, do we?
We don't want to double up on Man United midfielders. Another one says Eze from Catch. A few say Foden. So Eze, Foden, Trossard. We've got Mbomo. Someone suggested Mbomo. We've already got him. They seem to be the best bets.
Eze, Foden, Trossard. I like those three. I think that's a good three. Yeah. So should we just go off the amount of words we see in the chat from now of either Foden, Eze, Trossard for the next minute?
Eze, Foden, Trossard, go. This is proper amateur
Hang on, mate.
hour.
I just need to go put my laptop on charge. Seriously, I'm going to be about 10 seconds.
Oh my goodness, this really is like a school project. Actually, people at school will be way smarter than us anyway, so this wouldn't even happen on a school show. Whoa, Trossard's getting a lot of love suddenly. Eze, Trossard, Foden, Eze, Trossard, Eze, Trossard, Eze. Whoa.
Okay, that's ruling out.
Made up a song. Someone mixed that into a song.
I think we're getting more Ezes, are we?
We're getting loads of Ezes here.
Oh, we're getting a little Foden surge.
And no, loads of Ezes.
Do we feel like we've got enough to say that?
I think that wave was so big. That wave of Ezes was so big. I think Eze wins.
Yeah, Craig says Eze is the clear winner. I think we've got. It would be wrong not to use those votes. Like even if we went and did a Twitter poll later, it wouldn't be fair on you guys all watching now voting.
Yeah,
it's got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're going with whatever they choose right now. Does this team have Rashford? It does, Manon. Yes, it does.
Show us the team again, Dean.
Bring Dean in 5.5. Am I 5.5? I thought I'd be worth more than that. Let me get this team back up. Let's see if we can get good light here. We have currently Turner.
Yeah, that's good.
Chilwell.
So we're going to go Onana.
So we're going to have Onana. Yeah, Onana's currently on the bench. So what have we got here? Have we got power back? We might.
We've
got some dodgy graphics. We've got 4G. Some dodgy graphics breaking through. Yeah, I think that's even less helpful than my phone signal. But
stick your phone back up. Master, if you can hear us in the chat, if we still have time, or if the poll function works, can you do a simple poll in the YouTube chat within who should we sell Martinelli for? Eze, Foden, or who was the other one?
Eze, Foden,
Trossard. We just need that 3-option chat. We think Eze's the winner, but you guys are going to have to vote again or vote properly because I think we're going to be able to do a poll. Although we might be talking to no one here. We don't know if Mus is actually with us, Dean.
I've got no idea, mate. We're about to hit 300 people.
Oh, he is. 300 people watching. Hit the like button, team. Right.
Yeah.
Who to sell Martinelli for? You got one option only. Hit that answer. If not, Dean's going to break out into his rap again.
Yeah, it's a Trossard. Yeah, who do we sell Martinelli for? There you go. Get voting right now. I'm loving the quality of our content today. This is peak stuff. YouTube's never seen anything like it. We'll soon have our plaque coming in the post, mate, with stuff like this going. Ken suddenly thrown Gordon into the. Nah, Gordon played rubbish the other day. I don't need him.
We don't want a Newcastle forward. All these three teams, we feel like reliably they're going to score goals. I'm not so confident on.
Look, Eze is just about in front of Foden in terms of this vote, and now they're neck and neck. Trossard actually is a bit far back, but Eze has just got his nose in front as it stands. We've got 70 legal votes.
When we get to 80, should we stop?
Yeah.
Or 75.
And if it's a draw at 80, then Eze gets it because of that big wave of Ezes we had. So we'll go with that. And I just hope that doesn't turn out to be true, because obviously I don't want Eze to score any points this weekend.
We've got to 79 votes. We're going to call it. Yeah,
Eze's in front. So
Eze's won it. We've got to 81 votes. So Eze gets it. Guys, we're going to have those money back next week. Martinez to Eze saves us some packed cash.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Brilliant. Well done, people. Well done for sticking by us. Well done, G, for somehow getting us there.
We'll captain Haaland. We won't vote on that one. And we will play a Stupinan over Chilwell, I think, guys. I don't think we need to vote on that. I get. Would you start Chilwell over Doku?
Oh, I mean, that is actually quite a tough decision.
Should we do
probably would. I think I would.
Chilwell or Doku to start?
Last vote. Yeah, as Stupinan's coming in, do we start with Chilwell or Doku? That's a good point.
Who are you going to vote for on this one? I think I'd gamble on Chilwell, because if he does start, Doku's going to concede, isn't he?
Definitely going Chilwell for me on that one. I'm keeping Doku out of my own team.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Just not as much upside. Like if Chilwell does play, then there is a lot of upside there. So I think it just makes sense. Like I'm obviously not mad on Chelsea, like generally at the moment, but
at the moment,
well, at the moment is like over the last 30 odd years.
Oh, it looks like Chilwell's going to win that vote. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start Chilwell. We'll have a Doku first sub, guys. Look, check out the stream on Monday, because we'll let you know how it's gone. Dean, I'm not around for a week, mate. I'm going to miss you, but the streams will continue. So I'll be watching. I'll be watching, and I'll try and be in the chat.
Try and jump in the chat. Yeah.
So check out Monday's show for a special guest alongside Dean. And then you'll see how the Chaser team got on. We'll show the results of my team and Dean's team as always as well. So we're still with you, and I'll be in the chat. So make sure you do join. But for now, guys, thank you so much for playing along.
Genuinely, thank you for getting us through that, people.
Hit the like button on your way out. But for now, he's been Dean, up and Gianni, and we've all been chasing the green, juicy arrows. See you later, guys.